Hey everyone, this is Adam Wong. I'm the editor of The Fifth Person. So we are an award-winning investment site that features articles and insights on equities in Singapore, Malaysia, the US, and Hong Kong. And what we do is we want to help our readers and investors everywhere make better investment decisions so you can invest profitably and consistently over the long term. So in this video, we're going to talk about CPF. And in Singapore, it's a topic that's being discussed a lot. And one of the main worries that a lot of Singaporeans have is that they won't be able to meet the full retirement sum when they hit 55. So if you don't even hit that sum, you won't have anything to withdraw at that age when you hit 55. So in this video, we're going to talk about how you can reach the full retirement sum as soon as you can, and maybe even beyond that. So when you hit the age of 55, you have actually something to look forward to when you hit that age. All right. So in this video, we're going to cover a lot of strategies so you have a clear idea of what you need to do to get to the FRS as soon as you can. And then you have a really good understanding of how you can use CPF as an investment for your retirement planning, just like any other instrument out there. So let's go. All right. In this video, we're going to talk about how you can maximize your CPF savings for retirement, and specifically how you can reach the full retirement sum as soon as possible. All right. So just to give you a really quick overview, just in case some of you don't know already, your CPF comprises of your ordinary account, your OA, your special account, which is your SA, and your MediSave account, which is your MA. All right. When you turn 55, the savings in your OA and SA go into something that's called the retirement account, or the RA. Okay. And this amount of savings that goes in is your full retirement sum. Okay. And then what's left, if you have anything left after that, you can withdraw that at 55 and use that for your retirement or whatever you want to do with it. Okay. Now, the reason why the government wants you to, put some money in your RA is because they want to make sure that you receive a monthly payout as you grow older. All right. So the full retirement sum in this slide here, it's $176,000, and that will give you about an estimated lifelong monthly payout from the age of 65, okay, of about $1,300 to $1,450. So this is just provided as a reference only. This will change, but essentially when you reach 55, you're going to have to put your full retirement sum into your RA, which will give you a monthly payout from age 65 onwards. All right. So this is the magic number, $176,000. Most people in Singapore, I would assume, would go for that amount. You can go with a basic retirement sum or an enhanced retirement sum, which will give you different payouts. But I would assume that most people will go with the full retirement sum, or the FRS. Now, in this slide, it's $176,000, but of course, this is now 2020, so the amount is actually now $181,000. All right, so that was a 2019 figure. So the thing is, a lot of people are very worried that they don't have enough in their CPF to even reach the FRS, which is right now at $181,000. You need to save up enough over your working life to put that aside, so you have something, you can actually and go beyond that, so you have something to withdraw from your CPF. If not, everything's in your CPF, and you wouldn't ever get to take it out, and you can only receive that monthly payment. All right. So the thing is, a lot of people are worried about they're not able to get to the FRS, and it's growing. As you can see, it was in 2003, this was 80,000 for the FRS, and now it's at 181,000. So this is a big bone of contention for a lot of people here, is because they are saying that the government keeps moving the goalposts. You told me it was 80,000 in 2003, and now in 2020 it's 181,000. If you keep moving it, how am I ever going to save enough for to ever meet that sum? Okay, so the reason why this amount, this FRS, keeps going up is because of one main reason, which is inflation. All right, so the cost of services and goods will grow over time. So if you think about it, if you only have, right now, if you retire with $80,000, how much do you think that's going to be worth in today's money? It's not going to be worth a lot. All right, so the reason why the government has to keep moving the FRS upwards is because of inflation. So if you have a look at Singapore's inflation rate over the last 20 years, okay, you can see that it's about 2 to 3%. All right, sometimes it goes really high, as you can see right here in this decade. Sometimes it goes negative as well because you have recessions and all that. But over the long term, you can see from this chart, it's about 2 to 3%. So the government needs to at least make sure that this FRS is growing by at least that amount. All right, so if you take a look at the numbers here, and we do a compounded annual growth rate for this FRS over the last 17, 18 years, you realize that the CAGR is actually 4.9%. So the FRS is actually growing faster than inflation. All right. So one reason why it's growing faster than inflation is because, the government may have to account for longer lifespans among Singaporeans, or there's a rising, standards of living, which will allow you to. Which means we want to spend more. I mean, maybe in the past you don't have all the fancy gadgets or your mobile phones and your Netflix subscriptions and stuff like that, right? So it was a simpler time, so you need less money for retirement. But nowadays, because of our rising standards of living and all that, we may want to spend more for retirement. So it's been growing at 4.9% over the last nearly 20 years, all right? So you can say it's been growing faster than inflation, basically. Okay, but recently it's been coming down. So if you bring it down, over the last 10 years is about 4%, and then over the last 5 years, it's now growing at 1.8%, which is about inflation. All right, so the thing is, this FRS is going to grow over time, regardless, because of inflation, basically. So you would assume minimum, the government is going to move this amount upwards by inflation every single year. All right, and maybe more, because based on historical precedents, right? So the thing is, you want to make sure that you are able to. The question is, how are you gonna catch up to the FRS if it's always going to be going higher and higher? So this is what the point of this video is all about. All right. So the question is, how can I keep up with the rising FRS? All right. And the key here is that you really want to meet the FRS as soon as you can. So no, I know a lot of people can't hit the FRS straight away. Not all of us have money to do that, all right? And you probably don't want to do that straight away as well. You want to build it over your life, your working life, all right, your career, and then you want to meet your FRS as soon as you can. And I'm going to give you the reasons why. Okay, and the moment you hit the FRS, a lot of things are going to be a lot easier for you, even if the government continues to shift the FRS higher and higher. Okay. Now we're going to take the 4% average that the government, okay, I wouldn't say it's an average, but let's just assume it's going to be 4%. We want to be a bit more conservative. We're not going to assume the government's only going to move it by 2%. Let's just say they're going to grow it by 4% over time. Okay, as inflation goes up, or rising standards of living continue to go, or we live to like 120 years old and stuff like that. So we want to make sure that we give a bit of buffer. Let's assume the FRS is going to grow at 4% a year. Okay. Now the thing is, how are you going to get to 181,000 this year? Okay. Or whatever amount is going to be in the future. Now the first thing is, the first thing you can do is you can transfer from your ordinary account to your special account. So like I said, in our CPF we have the OA and the SA and the MA. Now most of our money goes into the OA, and most people here would use the OA to buy their first property and stuff like that. But if you don't need that money to buy your property, and it's just sitting there earning the interest, you can actually consider moving it to the SA. And the reason for that is because the SA earns a high interest. All right, so the OA earns a 2.5% interest, but the special account, the SA, earns a 4% interest. So it makes sense. If you have no use for the money in your OA, you've already bought your property, you have no housing needs, you can always transfer the money in your OA into your SA and earn the higher interest. And you earn 4% a year risk-free. All right. So if you just take a look at the difference between that 1.5% interest spread, it accounts for a lot of money over the long term. So let's just say you take $100,000 and you put it into your OA at 2.5% interest. In 30 years, it's going to grow to $299,000. It's pretty good. All right. About 2 times your money back. All right. But if you put it in a 4% SA, the $100,000 becomes $324,000. That's a difference of $14,000. All right, so that's a big difference just putting it into your SA over the long term. 4% definitely beats 2.5% anytime. All right, so if you really have no use for your money in your OA, you can really consider putting it into your SA and earn that 4% interest, which will allow you to grow your SA much faster and allow you to hit the FRS much, much faster as well. Okay. However, there's some important considerations you really need to take into account before you make a decision like that. First of all, it's a one-way trip. The moment you move your money from the OA to the SA, you can't do it the other way around, okay? Because, of course, if the government allowed that, then everyone would be putting money into the SA at 4%, and then the moment they need the money, they move it back to the OA. It doesn't work that way, okay? So if you decide to do this, it's a one-way trip. You can only do it from the OA to the SA, and it's locked in there until you're 55, okay? So make sure you really don't have any considerations like your housing or whatever, okay, in your OA before you move that money to the SA to earn a higher 4% interest, okay? Make sure of that. Now, the second thing you can do to meet the FRS as soon as you can is to top up your special account, okay? So this on top of your regular monthly contributions from your salary into your CPF, you can actually take some more cash that you have in your wallet, in your bank account, and then top up your special account. You can actually do that voluntarily. All right, so it's just basically taking cash that you have, extra cash that you have, and then putting it into your SA, and then you earn that 4% interest as well. Now, you probably only want to top up about $7,000 a year because that's the maximum tax relief that you get every single year. If you put more than that, you don't get any additional tax benefits. So if you really want to do this strategy, you can put in an extra $7,000 a year into your SA, and that allows you to grow your SA much faster. That earns 4% interest. It's going to compound over the years, and that will allow you to hit the FRS much, much sooner. Okay, so if you want to do this, you can consider, topping up your SA $7,000 a year. You get some tax reliefs as well. That helps to reduce your tax, and so why not? Okay, if you really have extra cash lying around, you don't want to do with it, and you want to grow your FRS as soon as you can. Okay. Now, another simple tip is that if you top up in January instead of topping up in December, you earn a lot more interest because you get an extra year. So if you have actually any extra cash, start doing this top up of 7,000 in the start of the year in January instead of December, and you get to earn a little bit more interest as well. Now, the third strategy is to max out your MediSave. Okay, and I'll tell you why. Because your MediSave also earns 4% interest, same as your special account, but your basic healthcare sum is also growing as well. Okay, so this one's growing about 4.8%. Similar to the SA over the long term. The thing is, the moment you max out your MediSave, it flows. Any other contributions into your MediSave won't go into your MediSave anymore because there's a cap. It's at this point it's $60,000. If your MediSave is maxed out at $60,000 and you continue to work, and you still have contributions to your MA, and if it's full, it will no longer go there. It will flow into your SA instead of your OA. Okay, so if you can do that, then your SA will grow much faster. Once again, it allows you to hit your FRS much, much sooner. Okay, so the other thing is, the other benefit of having money in your MediSave is that it allows you to earn also 4% interest, which goes into paying your MediShield premiums. All right, so why not? So instead of, you can still have your own private insurance and all that, but having that money in the MA allowing you to earn interest actually pays off for part of your premiums, or all of your premiums actually, every single year or every single month. So again, you get protection from MediShield as well. So it's kind of like a win-win situation if you do that. So you want to make sure that at least you have enough, at least enough in your MediSave to cover the premiums that you're supposed to pay. So let's just say if you're like between 31 and 40, like I am, I would say I'm middle income somewhere, and then I have to pay about $22 a month in premiums. And of course, if I have enough in my MediSave, that will earn interest to pay for these premiums, and I don't have to come out anything extra from my own pocket to cover the premiums. My interest from my MediSave will do that. Okay, so this is the third strategy which you can use, which is to basically max out your MediSave, and then that money will go into your SA after that. Now, the fourth way is to use the money in your CPF and invest it during a market crash. Now, I have an asterisk there because there's some really important things that you need to know before taking your money to invest in stocks, using your CPF money to invest in stocks, because your CPF is for your retirement and you want to be very extra conservative. So I'm going to cover this in a different video about how you can invest your CPF very prudently and profitably in stocks. I'm not going to cover it entirely here because it's an entire topic altogether. But another way that you can grow the money into in your CPF and hit the FRS as soon as you can is to invest it, because as you know, the OA pays you 2.5% interest, the SA pays you 4% interest. But if you can invest that and earn returns higher than 4%, then you get to, meet your FRS much quicker. All right. So, but of course, the question is you got to be very conservative in how you invest it, because you don't want to play with your retirement money. All right. So you want to make sure that you do that. All right. So the tip here is about investing during a market crash. And the reason why you do that is because that's when you get the best bargains in the stock market. Okay. I'm going to talk more about that in a different video. You can look at it in our channel. But basically, let's have a look at the Straits Times index over here. All right. So the Straits Times index is a basket of the 30 biggest companies in Singapore. It generally represents the Singapore economy and stock market. Okay. So over the last 10 years, all right, we have seen 4 market crashes. So the one we had in 2008, 2009, which is the Great Recession, which is one of the biggest ones ever. And then in 2011, you had the Euro debt crisis. And then in 2015, you had the China stock market crash, which affected us as well. And then very recently, we had the US-China trade war, which actually pulled markets down in Singapore as well, especially in December in 2018. So as you can see, over 10 years, we had like 3-4 opportunities to invest in the stock market, which will give you really good prices for great stocks at low prices, basically. And you have opportunities. So these are the best times you want to have a look, because then you don't want to invest when markets are expensive. So if you want to invest using your CPF money, you want to make sure that you pick really good, solid, stable companies. I'm going to talk more about this in a different video. And of course, investing during a stock market crash. All right. So if you're interested in that, go look out for the other video. I'll put a link in the description as well. You can check that out if you're interested. So this is another strategy you can use, all right, to grow your CPF savings much faster, so you can hit the FRS much quicker again. Okay. So just to summarize everything that we've learned in this video so far, is that you can to grow the money in your CPF. Number one is you can transfer money from your OA to SA, so you earn a higher interest at 4%. So then that compounds over time, and that allows you to meet the FRS much faster. You can also top up your special account up to $7,000 a year, which will give you tax reliefs. You can max out your MediSave, so that will help to pay for your MediShield premiums. And of course, if you max out your MediSave, any extra money that goes into there, that's supposed to go there, will now flow into your SA. And of course, you can also take the option to invest your CPF money in really good companies during a market crash. So doing all of these things will help you to grow your overall CPF savings much, much faster. So over a period of time, you'll realize that you have a lot more money, because you're growing your money much faster at 4% or even higher if you invest well. And then pretty soon you'll be able to meet the full retirement sum that's needed at 55. Okay. And the thing is, the moment you hit your FRS, and you must remember that when you hit your FRS, it's still going to grow at 4% a year. So even if the government shifts the goalposts, it will be no problem for you to meet the new FRS, because if the government's, for example, if the government's going to raise the FRS by 4% every year, but you've already maxed out your special account and it's also growing 4% a year, you'll be able to meet that new goalpost with no problem at all. Just invest with just the money with just the interest that you're earning in your special account. And on top of that, you're still if you're still working, you still make extra contributions into your SA as well. So that's one of the main reasons why you want to hit the FRS as soon as you can, because you'll be earning 4% interest on that. Even if the government shifts the FRS even higher, you have no problems meeting that. So I hope you find this video really, really useful. And if you want more investment articles and insights, you can always go to fifthperson.com and check out all our articles that we have there. All our resources are free as well. And of course, if you like this video, please like the video, share it with your friends, and subscribe to our channel. And I hope to see you on our next video really, really soon.